Welcome back, everyone. FBI and ICE investigated in Minnesota Somali daycare fraud, found 19 billion stolen and 3,000 ghost kids exposed in this scam here. And all this rioting and all these people getting killed is just a way for the Democrats, especially Tim Walz, Ilmar, and that mayor, to get everybody off the scandal and focus on the riots. So I'm here today to show you what's going on with these videos and give you our insight. Just to let you know, don't get swept up in the riots going on. You need to pay attention to the big picture, and this is the fraud. Let's get to it.
At 10:25 a.m. Central Time, Immigration and Customs Enforcement were carrying out lawful operations here in Minneapolis.
No! No! Shit! Shit!
Local and federal authorities ramping up investigations into alleged social services fraud in Minnesota.
It was 6 a.m. in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood of Minneapolis. The temperature is freezing. The streets were silent, except for the crunch of snow under the tires of a convoy of 12 unmarked federal SUVs. Inside, 58 agents from the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security were preparing to breach a commercial building listed as the Future Scholars Child Care Center. On paper, this facility was run by Mahad Abdi, a man who had become a local celebrity in the Somali community. He claimed to be feeding and educating over 2,000 disadvantaged children every single day. His nonprofit had received massive emergency grants, ostensibly to keep kids fed and safe. He was supposed to be the clean replacement, the hero who picked up the pieces after the massive Feeding Our Future scandal had rocked the state just years prior.
State and federal agents had already raided Ali's daycare center in South Minneapolis.
At suspected fraud sites, the escalation follows a now viral video that shows what appear to be empty daycare centers, mostly run by the Somali community that received millions of taxpayer dollars.
But when agents smashed the glass and swarmed the lobby, they didn't find a bustling daycare. They didn't find 2,000 children eating breakfast. They found a single room with the lights off. Dust covered the plastic tables. The kitchen was empty, no food, no ovens, not even a refrigerator. Just a laptop on a folding table and a stack of suitcases in the corner. Mahad Abdi hadn't built a school. He had built a multi-million-dollar illusion on the back of a previous tragedy, and he was about to run.
A massive fraud scheme uncovered in Minnesota found money intended for social services has been allegedly siphoned indirectly into the pockets of the Somali terrorist group Al-Shabaab.
To understand why 58 federal agents were kicking down doors in a Minneapolis winter, you have to rewind to 2022. You have to understand the ghost that haunts this entire investigation, the Feeding Our Future scandal. It remains the largest pandemic fraud scheme in United States history. A staggering $250 million was stolen from the federal child nutrition program. The premise was simple. The government would pay nonprofits to feed hungry children during the COVID lockdowns. But instead of feeding kids, a network of fraudsters simply invented them. 78 people were charged. 72 of them were from the Somali community. The money didn't go to bread or milk. It went to luxury cars, resort property in Turkey, and massive real estate portfolios in Kenya. It was a heist of epic proportions, carried out with a pen and a spreadsheet.
The latest allegations add to a growing list of fraud investigations in Minnesota. So far, 92 people have been charged, including 82 Somali Americans.
When the dust settled, the state promised never again. They implemented new oversight. They hired auditors. They claimed the loop was closed. But they were wrong. While the public was focused on the trials of the original conspirators, a new player was quietly building an even bigger machine. Mahad Abdi watched the first scandal not as a warning, but as a blueprint. He saw where the others failed. They got greedy too fast. They flaunted their wealth on Instagram. Mahad was different. He was a ghost. He didn't buy Ferraris in Minneapolis. He moved his money in silence. And he found the one weakness the government hadn't fixed, the Child Care Assistance Program, CCAP.
So how much money are we talking about stolen from the American taxpayer? I can say with great comfort, well in excess of $1 billion.
For 3 years, Mahad Abdi's operation ran smoothly. The state of Minnesota wired him millions of dollars every month. His paperwork was impeccable. His rosters were full. But his empire began to crumble not because of a federal audit, but because of a 23-year-old YouTuber with a camera. In late December, a social media influencer released a 42-minute investigative video that set the internet on fire. He did something the state inspectors hadn't done in years. He simply walked up to the front door. He visited dozens of these state-funded daycares in the middle of the day. He went to places like the Quality Learning Center, a facility that couldn't even spell learning correctly on its own signage. The video was damning. He filmed locked doors at 10 a.m. He filmed empty playgrounds. He interviewed confused neighbors who said they hadn't seen a child in that building in months.
There you go. All that money was stolen from Minnesota. But the Minnesota people in there are so brainwashed, so stupid by the Democrat people there. They don't listen. They just try to protect the ones who steal from them. The rest of the world know it. See, all the southern states know what's going on. The northern states are stupid as fuck because they want this shit to happen. They want their country to be destroyed. The people in the northern states do not care about the United States at all. Now, some people are like, oh, well, no. They don't give two shits about the United States of America. Democrats don't care about nothing about the United States, period. Why do you think they pick a jackass for their mascot? It's a specific reason why they done it. If you dig deeper, you'll find it's a demonic reason, not a patriotic reason. It's a demonic reason. Back to the video.
What happened in Minnesota where fraud was able to run rampant that it didn't in other states?
Lack of accountability, frankly.
One specific clip went viral instantly. It showed Mahad Abdi's flagship center, Future Scholars. In the video, he knocks on the glass. It's 11:30 a.m., prime lunchtime. The lights are off. There is no sound of children playing. No staff. Just silence. Yet public records showed that on that very day, Mahad Abdi billed the state for watching 450 children. The video racked up millions of views overnight. It wasn't just a local news story anymore. It was a national scandal. It forced the hands of the authorities. The Feeding Our Future sequel was no longer a secret. The reaction was immediate and volcanic. The video didn't just expose fraud, it ignited from the federal government. FBI Director Kash Patel announced a surge of resources to Minnesota. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Patel tweeted, "We are not just looking at fraud. We are looking at where the money went." Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem deployed teams to the ground immediately. DHS agents were seen going door to door in Minneapolis, verifying the existence of these ghost children. A 23-year-old with a camera had exposed what the entire federal and state bureaucracy had missed. And as the political titans clashed on cable news, Mahad Abdi knew his time was up. He began to liquidate. Inside the Future Scholars Center, agents found the mechanism of the fraud. It was surprisingly low-tech, yet devastatingly effective. In Mahad's office, they found the master list. It contained the names, dates of birth, and social security numbers of over 3,000 children. But where did these names come from? They weren't made up. They were real children. Mahad's network had purchased the identities of children from low-income families across the Midwest. Some parents were paid a kickback, a few $100s a month in cash, to sign their kids up for the daycare, even if the child never set foot in the building. Other identities were simply stolen from dark web data breaches. The system was automated. Every Monday morning, Mahad's secretary would log into the state's billing portal. She would check the boxes for attendance for all 3,000 children. Click, click, click. With a few keystrokes, she generated an invoice for $200,000. The state system, overwhelmed and understaffed, simply cut the check. The investigation revealed that in just 18 months, Mahad Abdi's network had siphoned over $42 million. But as agents dug deeper into the financial records on Mahad's laptop, they found something that terrified them. The money wasn't just sitting in a bank account in Minneapolis. It was moving. And it wasn't just going to real estate in Kenya. This is where the story shifts from a financial crime to a national security nightmare. News outlets had been reporting for months on rumors that the fraud money was being funneled to Al-Shabaab, the terror group affiliate of Al-Qaeda in Somalia. The Treasury Department had been cautious, stating they hadn't seen definitive proof, but Mahad Abdi's laptop changed that. Agents found encrypted chat logs with a contact listed only as the Hawala. The messages detailed transfers of millions of dollars through informal money transfer systems that bypassed the banking sector. "The package is ready," one message read. "The farm needs watering." The farm wasn't a piece of land. It was a code word. And then, in the back of the Future Scholars warehouse, behind a stack of fake attendance records, the search team found the physical evidence. It wasn't food. It wasn't toys. It was a shipping container. When agents cracked the seal, they didn't find rice or flour. They found boxes of dual-use tactical gear, night vision goggles, encrypted radios, and drone parts, all purchased with American taxpayer money, ready to be shipped to the Horn of Africa. But the most chilling discovery was in the safe. Alongside the stacks of cash, agents found a bag of blue pills, fentanyl. The investigation revealed a circular economy of death. Mahad Abdi wasn't just stealing welfare money. He was using the stolen cash to buy cheap fentanyl from cartel contacts, flooding the streets of Minneapolis with the drug to keep his runners and low-level enforcers paid and addicted, while the bulk of the profit was siphoned overseas to fund violence. He was poisoning the very community he claimed to serve, twice over. First, by stealing the resources meant for their children, and second, by selling poison to their brothers and sisters. The raid on Mahad Abdi's center was the domino that toppled the network. By noon that day, 12 other affiliated centers were raided. The Quality Leering Center with the misspelling, raided. The Somali Community Wellness Hub, raided. Mahad Abdi was arrested at the airport minutes before boarding a flight to Istanbul. He had $50,000 in cash taped to his torso and a USB drive containing the master list in his pocket. The fallout was swift. The Department of Health and Human Services paused all child care assistance payments to over 100 providers in Minnesota, pending a total forensic audit. For the legitimate daycare owners, the women who actually cooked meals and watched children, this was a disaster. Their funding dried up overnight. They faced threats and harassment from a public that now viewed every Somali-run business with suspicion. "We are victims too," said one honest provider in an interview. "Mahad Abdi stole from the government, but he also stole our reputation. He made us all look like criminals." Governor Walz announced a complete overhaul of the state's verification system. "The era of the honor system is over," he declared. "If we don't see the child, we don't pay the check." Mahad Abdi is currently facing federal charges for wire fraud, money laundering, and providing material support to a foreign terrorist organization. If convicted, he will never see the outside of a prison cell again. But the $250 million from the original scandal, most of it is still gone. And the millions Mahad stole, investigators estimate they will recover less than 10%. The Feeding Our Future sequel proved one hard truth. As long as the government prioritizes speed over security, there will always be a ghost waiting in the wings, ready to sign the roster. This raid stopped one man, but the system that created him is still broken. There are thousands of daycares receiving billions of dollars across the country right now. How many of them are real? And how many are just empty rooms with the lights off? We need a full audit, not just in Minnesota, but everywhere. If you agree, hit that like button and share this video. The only way to stop the ghosts is to turn on the lights.